All right. This is session 12 with Sara again. And good to see you, Sara.
Good to see you too.
Awesome. Today you want to talk about grief and grief recovery. It's an interesting topic. Many people may not know about grief, what grief is specifically, because I think people are under the impression that grief is about the sad feeling that when you go through losing someone who passes away, but definitely it's not the definition, and you're going to talk about it. So just to warm up at the beginning before other participants join us, can you just tell us about yourself one more time, your background, your interests, or the things you want to share with us, and then we go to the book.
Sure. So hello everybody, thank you for being here. And so I'm Sara, and I'm a life coach, certified life coach, but the area that I'm very active in basically, and I love it, is relationship and communication. And again, especially I think that it's very important to have a good relationship with ourselves first, and then have a great relationship with other people. So basically this is what I talk about all the time, you know, just dare to be bold enough to be yourself, and bold enough to go after your dreams and the things that you want to do in your life. Grief recovery is actually one of my specialties. It might be different from coaching, but the reason that I actually got certified in grief recovery is I was going through a lot of losses in my life, and I shared my story in a book like years ago, well now in 2 books, but I co-authored a book, Who's Gonna Stop Us Now, and I shared my like a brief short story about my life and my losses, and you know, things that I went through, and my immigration and everything. And a lot of people reached out to me after they read my book, and they were asking me, oh, okay, so we're dealing with the same loss, and we're dealing with the same problem, Sara, so can you help us? And I realized that I didn't have the tools to help them. You know, I had experienced them, but I experienced a lot of losses that I'm just going to actually talk about. But I didn't know how to help other people. So that made me actually go and discover more about grief, and, you know, get my certificate in grief recovery, and just to be able to help more people. And yeah, that's my passion, just helping people, and especially women, to be bolder, and you know, just to be assertive, to go after what they want, and to create a life that they really love. You know, not just a life that is good on the outside, the life that feels good. That's my passion.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. So tell us briefly about the book. What is this book about, and why you chose this book as one of your 5 favorite books?
Sure. So the reason, so the book is called Grief Recovery, and actually this is a handbook. It's not the actual book, meaning that you can see all the stickers there. This is actually a handbook, which means that there are lots of exercises in the book. In case you're going through grief, you can actually use this book. But this is something that we grief recovery specialists help our clients with the program, because it's okay, like obviously everybody can read the book and, you know, do the exercises, but it's very different when you do it with a specialist, with someone who knows the book, and especially if you're in a group or even one-on-one, and it teaches you a lot about grief. And the reason that I love this book, or handbook, is it helped me a lot to heal or go beyond my grief, to go beyond my loss. We, all of us that are here, I'm pretty sure that we have experienced a lot of losses in our life. But we don't take them seriously, because we've never learned how to deal with our losses. We've never learned how to deal with grief, and we minimize it, you know, we minimize it. And after a while, we realize that why we're so stuck in life, why I'm not so happy, why I cannot get into another relationship after, you know, my divorce, why like I lost my parents or I lost whoever, and why I cannot move on. The pain is still there, right? Or after your immigration, after a loss of trust or whatever. So any heartbreak, basically, we realize that there's so much pain and there's so much like lots of emotions that we bottled up, and they don't let us move forward beyond our losses. And that's a reason that a lot of people are very unhappy. So this is one of my favorite books because it helped me to basically go beyond my loss and recover and just learn more about grief. What is grief? Like, we don't have that, like we know things. Oh, okay, so I'm sad, you know, I'm grieving and stuff, but we don't know much about that because as I'm going to mention actually later, we've learned, or it's better to say, we've been taught how to accumulate things, how to collect things. Oh, I want to get a degree. I want to, you know, buy a house. I want to do this. I want to accomplish that. I want to, you know, make money. So we have learned how to collect things, but we have never learned how to deal with it when we lose it, right? So that's the reason that I really like this book. And there is a program actually, it's called Grief Recovery Program. If you, whoever wants, if you Google griefrecoveryprogram.com, you see on the website, there's so many specialists, there's so many programs anywhere in the world actually that they can help you either online or in person or in different languages, group setting, one-on-one setting, everything that they can actually help you to recover from your loss and move beyond that, basically.
Awesome. Perfect.
That was a
okay.
question. Like the answer.
Oh, perfect answer. Do you have slides?
Okay, so do you want me to start from the?
Yeah, sure. Do you have the slides?
Sorry, no, there's no slide.
Okay. All right. So you can start.
No. Okay, yeah, yeah, I know. I had slides for the first one, and I'm like, I'm not sure. It's okay. It's just easier to do this like this.
Sure.
So I want people to be active actually in the chat box. I would love to hear from you. So tell me in the chat box, when you hear the word grief, what is it? What do you think about when you hear the word grief? Okay, what is grief to you? Just give me some, I don't know, examples or words or whatever that you relate grief to. Sadness. Thank you, Reza. Mourning, loss. Very good. Do you know how many losses we have? When you think of a loss, what do you think of? You think of what? Dealing with loss. You think of loneliness, okay? Yeah, that's the thing. You think of loneliness because people don't talk about it, right? You think of loneliness. Okay, so let me give you the definition of grief. What is grief? So first of all, it's very, very important to know that grief is a very normal and natural reaction to any losses, any losses. And when I say any losses, in grief recovery, we say that we have basically 40 plus losses. It could be a loss of a loved one, like your loved one dies, could be divorce, could be separation, could be retirement, could be immigration, could be moving to a new place, could be marriage, could be graduation, could be like health issues, health problems, could be loss of trust, could be loss of safety, could be any financial changes, anything. So any of these in grief recovery, we see them as a loss. But why do you think we say that, oh, you would think that, oh, a marriage, why a marriage is a loss? why a marriage? Oh, it's going to be a happy time. You know, I'm so excited to get married, blah, blah, blah. So marriage is a happy time, or graduation is a happy time. Then why we consider that a loss? I'm going to tell you why. So definition of the word grief, or what is grief exactly? Grief, I'm going to read it. I'm going to actually read it twice. Grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior. So again, grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior. So what does that mean? I'm just gonna talk about when you lose your loved ones. For example, I give a lot of examples about myself, so it's maybe it's more easier to understand. For example, I lost my father when I was 24, and he was dealing with cancer for 5 or 6 years. So he was basically battling cancer for so many years, and we could see him just shrinking and shrinking and in so much pain. So when he died, of course, from one side, I was heartbroken. I was devastated, but at the same time, I was kind of relieved and happy that he was not suffering anymore. So this is what we're talking about, conflicting feelings. So I had conflicting feelings of the change in the pattern of what? Like a normal or regular pattern. The pattern was like, I saw my father every single day. I talked to my father every single day. All of a sudden, boom, he's not in my life anymore. So that's change of a pattern. So I have conflicting feelings. He died, I was heartbroken, but I was relieved that he wasn't suffering anymore. Another example, I was married for 10 years. And then after my divorce, again, for 10 years, I lived with a man every single morning, woke up to this guy. For 10 years, we had memories and everything. And then boom, after 10 years, that person is not in my life anymore. So my conflicting feelings, I was, again, relieved that I was not in a relationship that was not serving me anymore. I was free. But at the same time, I was so worried and felt so scared and afraid of my future, and thinking that, oh my God, am I going to end up being alone? Am I going to find someone else? How am I going to protect myself? How am I going to live my life? So all those conflicting feelings that you experience when a normal pattern of your lifestyle or basically changes, right? So another example, for example, you say, oh, why marriage then? Marriage. So you get married, of course, it's your happy time, but there are some things that you're missing. Maybe your, I don't know, your time with your single friends, or maybe your freedom, or maybe your parents, or maybe a lot of other things. And then you have some other worries that, oh, okay, now I'm married and I'm committed to this relationship. So all those conflicting feelings and everything that basically is about the time that you're dealing with those emotions, basically. And obviously, mostly, it's about broken heart. It's about broken heart, right? So grief, again, is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in familiar pattern of behavior. So the familiar pattern of behavior that I was talking to my mom every single day just ended. Just one day like that ended. So my mom was not there. My mom was not there anymore for me to, just call her and say, oh, Mom, this is my problem. What am I supposed to do now? So she wasn't there anymore, right? So that's why we say that we have all these losses, and all these, basically, the reason is funny because a lot of these losses, when we say loss of trust, when we say loss of pet, loss of health, a lot of people actually don't look at them as grief issues. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't think, oh, you lost your dog? Oh, whatever, go and get another dog, right? Or for example, oh, You divorced? Oh, whatever. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Go find someone else, right? So there's always, they don't really take them seriously. And I'm just going to explain later that how we try to, we are actually ill-prepared to give comments to people and to basically move beyond our losses. So anyways, grief is about a broken heart. And a lot of times when people make comments like, oh, for example, when I lost my mother, people were saying things like, she's in a better place. Or, oh, at least she lived a great life. Or, oh, she's not suffering anymore. Like all those comments, people have good intentions, but they don't know that those comments might be okay intellectually, but they're not helping me because I don't have a broken brain. I have a broken heart. This is what we are trying to basically heal. This is what we are trying to connect with. When someone has a broken heart, you want to talk to her heart. You don't want to talk to her brain, right? So, and I'm going to explain actually more about this. So, most of the comments that grievers are hearing about loss is just emotionally barren. They don't connect to those comments emotionally. And it's very important to realize this, because when you think that people do not understand you and they don't emotionally connect with you, they just isolate themselves, because they think if I want to talk about my mom's death, if I want to talk about the loss of my pet, or if I want to talk about my immigration and say how lonely I feel here, or my last breakup or whatever, and people don't want to hear it, they just say, oh, move on, or be strong, or this or that, then I'm like, okay, so they don't understand me. I don't feel that I'm heard. So let me just isolate myself. Let me just not talk to people. And that's the problem. When I isolate myself, and when I stop talking to people, when I stop expressing my feelings, I bottle up these emotions. And one day, somewhere, I'm just gonna explode. Or I just think that, oh my God, why I'm so stuck and I cannot really move on with my life, right? So, but when we talk about grief recovery, what do we mean by grief recovery? What do we mean by, oh, you have to recover from your grief? Basically, when we talk about this, it's finding a new meaning for life. Cherishing all the fond memories with the person or with the loss, and at the same time be able to move forward with our future. For example, if I don't recover from the loss of the trust that I had in my past relationship, then how am I supposed to get into another relationship, right? So it is important when we recover, when we talk about recovery, we're talking about finding new meanings to be able to enjoy life, not feel remorse, not feel regret. Like a lot of people feel regret in their in whatever they've lost. Regret, oh my God, like I should have said this to my mom. Oh, now my mom is not here. Oh, I should have said that, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. So a lot of remorse and regret we feel, and we don't want to feel like that. We want to cherish all the memories and be able to find new meanings and basically move forward. So, and recovery is when you realize that it's totally normal and it's totally fine to talk about your grief. And that's why so openly I talk about my grief. Like I've shared my stories in 2 books, and now I'm writing my memoir and everything. The more you talk about your grief, the more you're recovered, the more you're healed, right? So it's just, you don't really bottle up. So, but we have to actually acquire skills to do that. We have to acquire some skills to be able to, again, recover from the loss, and those skills that we were never taught in our childhood, right? Again, in our childhood, it's like, oh, get your degree, get married, get a house, buy a car, do this, get this degree, get that degree, get this degree, do a lot of things. But, if you lose them, whatever, just sit there and cry. And they usually say, don't cry, actually. So anyways, we are again, we were never taught how to deal with our losses. And sorry, I'm just looking at, I think that there are so many comments here. I'm trying to look at the comments. It is a strange and bad, it's a bad feeling, I think, because people don't let us really talk about that. And I'm just gonna, shortly explain about this. Not everyone wants to hear about that over and over. That's very true. So no, a lot of people don't want to hear about that over and over again, but that's why we have to actually find the group, like a group support, or someone that we can actually talk to about our grief. And who should we share the grief with? Very good. Thank you, Sinaja. Yeah, so we should share our grief with someone that we trust. We should share our grief that someone if you can share it with someone who has the skills, better. If you don't want to share it with someone who's a specialist or who has the skills, with someone that you trust, okay? Because again, a lot of people unintentionally give us all this information that is wrong. Unintentionally give us comments that are not working for us. They make us even more angry. It's like, oh, he doesn't understand me, right? So this is, I'm gonna actually talk about that. So here's the thing. When things that people say, let's think about things that people say when you're experiencing a loss, okay? Again, no matter what kind of loss, you're experiencing loss. Things that people say that is wrong. They say, oh, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Like, really? Like, I just lost my pet. Or I just broke up with my boyfriend or girlfriend, or I just lose my job. Like, what do you mean don't be sad? So don't be sad means don't show emotions. So we don't want to say that. That doesn't connect with our heart. It connects with our brain. So they say, be strong for other people. Be strong. Oh, be strong for your sister. Oh, be strong for your kids. Oh, be strong for your mother. Oh, be strong for, how about me? Right? Okay, I know that I have to be strong for someone, but this is not helping me really. So these are the wrong comments that people tell you, right? Or for example, they say, oh, just give it time. Time is gonna heal all the wounds. Okay. If I go out jogging and I fall and break my leg, what do you think? Can I just sit there for time to heal my wound? No. What do? I have to go and see a doctor, maybe get a cast or something. So I do something with that. I do something with that broken leg. You should do something with that broken heart, right? Time doesn't heal anything. You have to do actions. You have to do something about that, right? That's why there's so many people who go through losses, breakups, like loss of dear ones, that everything, but still after so many years, the pain is still there. The pain is still there, right? And they keep them stuck in life. So or a lot of people say, for example, oh, go to your room and cry. So it means isolate yourself. I don't want to hear about your loss. I don't want to hear about your, feelings of grief, right? So go to your room and cry. So these are all, so don't feel bad. replace the loss. Or when they say, oh, oh my God, Sarah, whatever, you just got divorced. There are so many other guys in the world. It means replace them. Replace your loss. I know that there are other people in the world, but that's not helping me right now, right? I don't want to replace my loss. And that's funny. And that happens a lot, especially with relationships. You end a relationship and you just jump into the next one. Because you're replacing it, right? You're replacing it. So grieve alone, just give it time and be strong for others and keep busy. Oh, you know what I think, Sarah? Why don't you just sign up for salsa class? Or why don't you start, getting your master's degree now, all of a sudden? I'm grieving and they want me to do something else to distract myself. They want me to do something else to replace it, to keep busy, right? Either jump into another relationship or replace it with work or replace it with this or replace it with a new hobby or whatever. The pain is there. The pain is not going anywhere. No matter what you do, the pain is still there until you deal with it. Okay? So, now, Sina asked a good question. He said, who should we share this with? When we have a broken heart, we want to be heard. We don't want to be fixed. When we have a broken heart, we want to be heard. We don't want to be fixed. So go and talk to anybody who doesn't want to fix you, who doesn't want to give you judgmental comments, who doesn't want to give you advice, who doesn't want to tell you that, oh, I told you you should have done this or you should have done that. No. So talk to someone who can hear you compassionately with a big heart. This is what I always say. And actually in grief recovery, we say, be a big heart with two big ears for people, because you want to hear them. You want to hear them with your heart, not with your brain. So it's people want to be grievers, want to be heard, and they want to be acknowledged. They want to be acknowledged for the feelings that they are experiencing, and they don't want to be fixed. They don't want to be fixed. So don't fix people. The next thing that I want to talk about is when we hear all these people telling us that, oh, be strong, do this, don't cry, blah, blah, blah. We isolate them ourselves and we act as if we are recovered, right? We put that big smile and go out to the world, but the pain is down there. This is what I did when I lost my mom. I would say, I don't know, I'm not even joking, for a good couple of years, because the loss of my mom actually happened with my divorce and my immigration. So 3 major losses I was going through. And I did not realize that at the time. 3 major losses and loss of trust. So 3 major losses at the same time. Every single day, I would put a smile on my face, go to work, teach, come back home. At night, I would cry here alone, because I had a broken heart and nobody could understand me. But obviously I didn't know how to deal with that better. And again, I thought that's, this is it, just deal with it. This is life. Life is tough, toughen up, Sarah. You're not a little princess, whatever. So we act as if we are fine. People ask you, oh, how are you? I'm fine. No, you're not fine. You're just lying. You're lying to yourself, because you know that maybe people don't want to hear that. Or maybe you think that you're fine, or maybe you think that you should be fine. Okay, so let me just see if there is any comments here that I don't want to miss. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we don't want to hear, like, even with your partners, right? Sometimes like with Matthew, I'm like, I don't want you to say anything, just listen to me. The worst is they will say it happened to me as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for mentioning this, Rana. Again, grievers want to hurt and acknowledge. When you say that, when I say, oh, so like I lost my mom or whatever, and my father divorced, and then you start talking about your loss. Oh, you lost your pet? Oh my God, listen to my loss. I just went through a divorce, and then you start talking about your loss. I'm not heard. Let me just finish, you know? So again, that's very true, because people don't know how to react. People don't know how to deal with someone else's grief. They think that, okay, if I talk about my experience, it's gonna help her in a way. It's gonna comfort the other person, right? It might, but it might not. It might, but it might not. So that's why we just wanna listen to the other person. And if the other person knows about your experience, you will share it with them, you know? But we always say that every loss is unique. For example, you can't really say that, oh, I totally understand you. I know what you're going through because I lost my mom too. Maybe you dealt with your pain too, but it's not exactly the same, because relationships are unique. Like my relationship with my mom was very different from the relationship that my sister had with my mom. Again, I came here and I was grieving for so many years, while my sister, you know, she looked and sounded fine to me, right? So people have different relationships with other people. So every grief is unique. And there is something that I have to actually mention, because if you are familiar with the stages of loss, I don't know if you've heard about that or not. So we say that there are stages of loss, but actually this is wrong. This stages of loss that was basically talked about, Elizabeth Kolber-Ross, she talked about the stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Those are the stages of someone who's dying. It's not the stages that when I'm losing someone, or I'm experiencing the loss of trust. Those are not the stages. And we don't want to box it. We don't want to box our grief and say, oh, okay, so hold on a second. So my mom just passed away, or I just broke up with my boyfriend. Which stage is that? Why am I not angry? I'm supposed to be angry. No, it doesn't work like that. Again, because every grief is unique and every relationship is unique. So we don't say, no, there is no stages. Don't box yourself, and don't think about, oh, so now I passed this stage, now I have to wait for the acceptance stage, for example. So we don't want to do that. But what we do, and it's very, very common, is we try to release or get rid of the energy or the grief that we haven't really dealt with, or we haven't really talked about. What does that mean? So we have something, it's called short-term energy relieving behaviors. It means that when we go through grief, we behave in a way to release our energy, to release our grief. So what are some of those behaviors? We eat a lot. That's one thing. And it's not the same for all people. It might be different. So listen to me and tell me, like, maybe you can relate to that. A lot of people start drinking alcohol, or they get into drugs. Anger. A lot of people show a lot of anger. Exercise. And these behaviors that I'm talking about maybe they are normal and natural while you're, you know, just living your normal life. But when all of a sudden that behavior becomes the highlight of your life. For example, if I just, I don't know, go for a walk once a week, and then I'm going through the grieving process, and all of a sudden I'm a, you know, workout, like I have to go to the gym every single day and work out for 2 hours or 3 hours, then that's the part of the behavior that I know I'm basically replacing my grief with, right? Or for example, a lot of people just isolate themselves. They read for months, or they watch movies or Netflix for months, or fantasies. A lot of people get into a lot of sex. A lot of people shopping. They think that, oh, you know, I'm shopping, I'm so happy, you know, and then they come home and they're like, no, I'm not happy, so they go shopping again tomorrow. Workaholism. A lot of people work a lot. They replace their grief with lots of working hours, morning to night, or even some people late at night. So, or a lot of people actually go to visit the grave of the person who has died, right? They do that every single day. If they don't do it, they feel bad about that, right? So most of these actions, maybe they are not really harmful, again, when we do them in a regular basis. Like, for example, okay, I eat food, or I exercise, I work, but again, they become harmful when you engage yourself in those activities for a wrong reason. Okay, so now I want to, something that I did for myself was, it's funny. So I am very adventurous, and I'm very active. But when I was going through my grief, I became really careless. Like, that was a time that I didn't care what would happen to me. And I thought that's okay, because I had already lost my father and my mother, and then, you know, no husband, and I was free here in Canada. I was like, okay, whatever happens to me, whatever happens. If I die, I die. So I got very adventurous. Like, I tried a lot of things, like skydiving, or I don't know, like swimming with the shark, or those things that never really, like, I wouldn't, if you tell me to do it now, I wouldn't do it probably. But at the time, it was so much fun. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, those are part of my great experiences that I had. But that was my way of dealing with my grief. That was my way of getting, you know, active, you know, adrenaline rush all the time, doing snowboarding, doing skiing, doing this, doing that. So that was my way. What I want you to share in the chat box is, how did you deal with your grief when you were going through your grief period? If some people can share with us, that would be great.
Some people are typing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Tofim. Isolation. Surush, yeah. I make myself busy, attending to some courses to learn, yeah. I did too, actually. I did a lot of, I did Landmark. I did Landmark in 2000, because 2010 was the year that was really tough for me. I moved here and I lost my mom and divorce and everything. So I did Landmark, and it actually helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. Because that's what you want to do. When you're grieving, you need to get help, you know? I told myself, enough, not to stay in this way. Work. Yeah. Yeah, those things that we tell ourselves to be strong. Oh, this is enough. Enough is enough. Now get up. It's good. I'm not saying that it's bad, but we have to deal with our grief, you know? We don't want to just bottle up our emotions and have that pain forever without acknowledging them. I block it inside me. Avoid talking about it. It hurts. It's very painful. I did Landmark in 2013. Oh yes, Tina? Yeah, Landmark helped me a lot, actually. I love that. So, okay, thank you for sharing, guys. So, but let me talk about something that in this book or in Grief Recovery, we talked about this. So, okay, now what? Okay, now we know what's wrong. Now we know what we need to do. Now we know that we have to recover. And we have to recover because our relationship with grief or our relationship with those people are incomplete. So we have to complete them. And what do we mean by incomplete? Okay, so when we have piled up lots and lots of undelivered communications, lots and lots of undelivered communications, either with people who are dead or even with people who are alive, okay? Then we are incomplete. For example, if I think that, oh my God, my parents passed away and I wanted to tell them how much I love them, but I never said that to them. Or I wanted to say that, I don't know, I was wrong about something that I did to them, but I never said that, right? So those are undelivered communications. I never communicated those feelings with them, right? Or maybe, for example, with someone that you have problems with, you know, your parents or your friends or whoever, or your even ex-partner, right? So there are communications that you never really delivered to the person. You wanted to tell them how much you hated them. You wanted to them how much you hated the way that they were, you know, talking to you, or maybe, oh, you loved them at the time, or a lot of things that you never really communicated properly. So it's an accumulation of undelivered communication. Again, no matter if those communications are big or small, but they have emotional values to you. Those communications that have emotional values to you. So those are very important for the grievers to complete what is unfinished for us. So there is it's like unfinished business, right? I wanted to tell him this, or I wanted to do this or to do that, and then all of a sudden that person is not there anymore, right? So that's why we say it's incomplete. And again, often when we look back, for example, I always think that, oh no, this is not, we always have lots of hopes and dreams for our relationships, right? So for example, for me, when I was going through divorce, I had lots of hopes and dreams to come to Canada and live with my ex-husband, to have a beautiful future, and then I would bring my mom, and then my mom would be here, and da 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 da. None of them happened, right? So all those hopes and dreams that I had just shattered all of a sudden, right? So basically, that's why we say, often when we look back on difficult relationship with living people, let's say now someone is alive, you have difficult relationship with those living people, parents, siblings, or others, we recognize many things that we wish had been different, better, or more. For example, if you have problem with a living parent, for example, you wish you had a better relationship with your mom, for example, or your dad. You wish that you had something more or less in that relationship, right? So, and again, accumulation of undelivered communication that limits us in these relationships as well. Maybe you have problem, maybe you have feel betrayed, maybe you feel, I don't know, very uncomfortable in a relationship, but you have never communicated that feeling with the living person. So that's incomplete. So when we talk about recovery, we talk about being complete in our relationships. We want to talk about being complete and say things that emotionally are charged for us. They're emotionally charged. So something that we want to do, again, for, to go through grief is, again, if you read this book, there are lots of exercises after this that actually you think that, okay, now I want to recover, and what am I supposed to do? Now I have lots of information about this, and I want to be able to just pass beyond that grief, pass beyond those painful emotions. The feeling is always there. The betrayal is always there. Whatever happened is always there. We don't want to forget them, but we want to be able to live without the painful feelings that make us stuck, basically, in our life, right? So a lot of times we write letters. A lot of times we identify the painful relationship, again, either with the dead or the living person. A lot of times we write letters, and in those letters, components that are very important that we have to actually include are forgiveness, apologies, and any statements that are, again, they're statements that they're emotionally charged, again. And we want to say whatever all those feelings or emotions or dreams or things that, again, we wanted to be different or better or less. We want to communicate all of those. Again, if part of it is you need to, forgive someone. And that's the problem, that a lot of people don't want to do that. And the funny thing is that when we talk about forgiveness is not, oh, the other person haven't done this to me. I never say that, I forgave my, ex-husband or whatever because he cheated on me. No, it's, of course he cheated on me and it's the fact, right? So, but I just giving up the hope of a different or a better yesterday. That's forgiveness. I gave up hope for a different or better yesterday. I don't sit here and keep saying that, oh my God, I wish my relationship had been like this or had been like that. I wish he hadn't done this. I wish blah, 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 blah. No, I just give up that hope for a different or better yesterday, basically. That's forgiveness. So it's not forgetting, it's forgiving. A lot of it is, again, talking about your emotions, talking about all those undelivered, smaller, big communications that make you very emotional. That part of it is to say goodbye. And again, this is the part that is very, very painful for a lot of people to do. And I remember when I was doing this, it's funny. So when I shared my story in the book, the first book that I co-authored, I thought that, when I was writing the book and when I was sharing the story, like, again, for me, it was very emotional, right? But it was a healing process for me. Again, I remembered all those days that, I went through this, I went through that, that was so tough. So when I attended the certificate course to get my certificate, oh my God, that course was so heavy for me. And so I got so emotional again. And I was bawling my eyes, crying. So I could not finish my letters, right? And the part of it is funny because you think that, oh, you have to say goodbye to the person, you have to say goodbye to your mother. No, it's not, you don't have to say goodbye to people. You say goodbye to your pain. But the best thing to do for yourself, if you're going through any loss or any grief or anything, or you have experienced it and it's still, the pain is still there with you and you're stuck, the best thing is to get help and to do this with someone who's skilled and who knows how to help you to basically go through this and heal your heart or heal recover from your loss and your broken heart, basically. Yeah, this is the whole process, and this is the whole book. If you want, there is, because I see again, there are lots of people, Farsi speakers here. This book has been translated to Farsi. The translation is not the best, to be honest, but it's good. It's good if you think that English is too difficult for you. There are exercises. There are times that they want you to work with a partner, with someone else who's maybe going through the same grief or whatever, different grief. And yeah, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Sara, you mentioned this is the workbook. This is not the main book. Is there any?
It is a book. No. It is a book with exercises. So it's a handbook. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So it has all the graphs and everything that you need to, like everything that I just talked about. You can find it in the book. Mm-hmm. You see, always my books are highlighted.
Colorful, lots of sticky notes.
I love my I love my highlighters. They're always with me. But yeah, there is actually. You can order it on Amazon if you want. You can order it. I don't know about not the Farsi version. Probably you can find it on Amazon. But yeah, you can order it online. Any questions?
Awesome. Any questions? We have 6 or 7 more minutes. Mm-hmm. If you have questions about solutions, recommendations, comments, please share with us. Let me check Facebook if there is any comment. Okay. There's no question there.
Oh, people! Oh, yeah. People can actually make comments over there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're here.
Ghazal has a question.
Sure. Thank you, Shoraju. Is there a time frame to? No, there is no time frame. Again, because every person's grief is unique to that person. So there is no time frame. Of course, if you think that your grief is holding you back for a very, very long time in your life, and you feel that you're getting depressed because of that, then you might as well want to get professional help. But there's no time frame. If I can't come out of it, is that normal? You have to get help. Oh yeah, it is. If you don't get help, it is gonna be there for a very long time. If you're saying that it's been there for a very long time and it's ruining your life, then you might as well want to get help for sure. I know that one of my amazing friends and colleagues, Mitra Mohamadzadeh, she's actually offering a course in grief recovery online. I think she's going to start, I don't know, next week. Maybe Sina knows better. But if you want more information, you can reach out to her, or you can reach out to me. I work with individuals as well. You can work with anybody. But honestly, guys, if something is really holding you back and you think that you're very stuck because of grief, get help. And that's my strategy in my life. Like if I think that I can't do something on my own, even if it's with my relationship or my business or anything, I get help. But that's why there are lots of people with lots of tools and skills and expertise that can help you. Did you talk about? Yes, Rosha John, I talked about this book. Yes, but I think we have the recording, right, Alireza?
Yes, it will be shared with them.
And you uploaded on YouTube, right?
I uploaded the last 2 weeks videos of the last 2 weeks on YouTube. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with regards to what you said, the point is when people have negative emotions, there is misunderstanding and misconception that as time passes, the problem will be resolved. But this is not true. We are hiding the problem, and it will come back again, and
Yeah.
it will hit us even harder than before. So if there is something like that and it's bothering you, you have to deal with it. Otherwise, it will be there. You can close your eyes, but you're not solving the problem. The problem is still with you, and it will be there, and it will hit you again and again and again until it is dealt with, as Sara said. This is very important.
That's very true. Yeah, that's as if you say, oh, I can't solve this, then let me just remove the question, you know.
Exactly.
It's yeah, and it always comes back to you harder. And again, I give you a simple example. Like if I hadn't dealt, because when you are hurt, when you experience loss, you're hurt. Okay, so, and when you're hurt, you try to protect yourself. You're afraid of going to the world again and facing whatever, because you don't want to get hurt again. So you protect yourself, and you just prefer to, you know, just sit at the corner, be small, avoid any relationships. For me, committing to another relationship, I'm engaged to my fiance now, and I can't be happier, but it was a long process for me, because I didn't want to get hurt again. I couldn't trust people again. No, I couldn't trust men. I didn't want to get into another commitment or committed relationship. So when we when we are hurt, we basically want to protect ourselves. We put a shield on, and we just avoid the world. We avoid everything, and that's why we get stuck. It's like everything is like, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't want to face this. I don't want to face that. I don't want to, you know, like everything else in your life scares you. So that's why you have to actually try to get help and heal that wound and heal that broken heart, to be able to, you know, open up to new things in life, to go out there and just, you know, experience different things. That's what I think. Yeah.
Russia wants the links. The
link, I think she's talking about the link to like the recording link.
Oh, okay. That one can be shared later. I think at the end of the week, in the weekend, the 5 links of the week will be shared with you through an email. Yes.
That's great.
Awesome. All right, so we are very close to 1 o'clock. It is 1 now, right now.
Cinderella is gonna turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, in a few seconds. Awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. The session was very informative, very eye-opening.
Thank you so much. And guys, if you have any questions, you know, thank you, Sinajan, for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You know, I can give you more information about any, I don't know, any group sessions, or any one-on-one sessions, or any other co-workers or people who are, you know, providing this grief recovery program, and you know, or any books or anything. I would be more than happy to help you with that. I don't want you to get stuck. I don't want you to be, you know, like feel that pain for a very long time. Make sure to get help and get out of it.
All right.
I'm very active. I'm on social media all the time, very active. Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, I'm going to write down mine and your Instagram IDs there. Is that right?
Thank you.
Sara underscore Rahimi underscore. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also my website is sararahimi.ca. Yeah, people can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And thank you again, Sara.
Thank you, Alireza.
Our next session tomorrow will be with Solmaz, and she's going to talk about a wonderful book called Mindset. So if you want to know more about the mindset and how it works, don't miss the session tomorrow. And that's it. Any final words?
No, just, you know, just go out there, be your best self by recovering from all your wounds and losses and your grief.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We will
Thank you,
see
everybody.
you tomorrow.
Merci, Alireza.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Take care. Goodbye.